Hey everyone, it's Wolf from Retirees Update here, and we just got an official update that I need to share with you immediately. The Trump administration has announced plans for major changes to Social Security and disability benefits. And honestly, some of this is shocking. If you or anyone in your family receives Social Security retirement, disability insurance, SSI or survivor benefits, you need to hear what's happening right now. And here's the thing. There are some really concerning cuts being proposed, but there's also a potential benefit increase that could put an extra $7 to Wu Bai in your pocket instead of just Wusher Sis to Wusher Baht. Yes, you heard that right. I sat down and read through the official reports from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities and the Senior Citizens League so you don't have to wade through all that policy jargon. And I'm going to break down exactly what's being proposed, who it affects, and what you can do about it. This channel exists to help families like yours navigate government benefits and find resources when money is tight. So hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss an update that could affect your family's finances. And if you appreciate this information, please hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds and helps us reach more people who need this. Okay, let's start with the cost of living adjustment, your COLA, because this affects all Tisser's million Americans who rely on Social Security each month. Here's what's happening. The COLA announcement was supposed to come on October Sherwood, but the government shutdown delayed it until October Otter Sooth. Now, normally we'd see this delay as just bureaucratic frustration, but here's why this delay might actually be a good thing for you. Right now, the government calculates your COLA using something called the CPIW. That's a price index that tracks inflation for people who work and live in cities, not seniors, not people with disabilities, working people in cities. And here's the problem with that. According to the Senior Citizens League, the average senior who retired back in Ichen Jobai Jolser Jolt has lost nearly $5 in Social Security payments, because this metric doesn't reflect what seniors actually spend their money on. You're not buying the same things as a sensible-year-old working in Manhattan. You're spending more on healthcare, prescriptions, housing, things that inflate faster than the general economy. So if they stick with the CPIW, analysts are predicting a ardent cheat to Beifinger ardent ba increase. For the average beneficiary, that's about Wudasus to Wushabos more per month. And then what happens? Your Medicare Part B premium goes up and eats most of that increase. You're left with almost nothing. But here's where it gets interesting. The Senior Citizens League is pushing hard for the government to switch to a different metric called the CPIE. That's the Consumer Price Index for the elderly. This metric is specifically designed to reflect seniors' inflation, and it tends to run about Linden percentage points higher than the CPIW. Now, you might be thinking, what's Beifinger Linden E? That's nothing. But when you run the numbers across millions of beneficiaries, experts are saying this could mean an increase of $7 to $Y for seniors and disability recipients instead. Of that measly whooshers to whoosher bods. And here's why that government shutdown delay might actually help you. Right now, during this delay, lawmakers are pressuring the administration to make this change, to finally calculate your COLA based on what you actually experience, not what some working age person in a city experiences. So I want to ask you this right now. Do you support changing to the CPI metric so your benefits actually reflect your real costs? If you do, write in the comments, I support CPIE. Because here's the truth. If you don't speak up, nothing changes. Politicians need to hear from you. This is the part that really concerns me. According to an official report from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the Trump administration is planning deep cuts to Social Security and Disability Insurance, that's SSDI, particularly for older workers. Now, SSDI serves about Joe million Americans with disabilities. These are people who worked, paid into the system, and then became unable to work due to serious medical conditions. We're talking about people with chronic pain, mental health conditions, cancer, heart disease, severe injuries, people who didn't choose to stop working, but physically or mentally can't continue. The proposed cuts would make it harder to qualify for benefits and would likely result in more frequent reviews to prove you're still disabled. That means more paperwork, more doctor visits, more stress when you're already struggling with health issues. And here's who gets hurt the most by this: older workers in their woozers and early cers who develop disabilities. You're too young to retire, but too sick to work. These are often people who did physical labor their whole lives: construction workers, nurses, warehouse workers, truck drivers. Your body breaks down after decades of hard work, and now they want to make it harder for you to get the support you paid into. I'll be honest with you, I'm really troubled by this. Around 1 million Social Security recipients are already living below the poverty level in Artsen Lingarsawar. These are our seniors, our veterans, our neighbors who worked hard their entire lives, and that number is expected to increase in Arsenling Arsalu. Let me break down exactly who these changes would impact the most. If you're currently receiving this, you could face more frequent reviews and potentially stricter criteria to maintain your eligibility. Start documenting everything with your doctors. Now, if you're an older worker, especially in your wuzzes or early luxes, who's developing health problems, it may become much harder to qualify for SSD if these cuts go through. If you've been putting off applying because you're trying to tough it out, you might want to file your application now before any rule changes take effect. If you're a widow or widower receiving survivor benefits, there are discussions about adjusting these as well, particularly for low-income seniors on SSI. You're in this too. Changes to asset limits and income calculations are being discussed. Now, here's something interesting. I looked at which states have the most Social Security beneficiaries, and this includes retirement, SSI, SSDI, and survivor benefits combined. California is number 1 with the most recipients. Florida is number 2 with over E-Byte Isher E. Ling beneficiaries. Texas rounds out the top 3. So if you're in these states, you have political power. Your representatives need to hear from you because you represent a massive voting bloc. Okay, I know this is heavy. You might be feeling scared or angry or both, but here's what I want you to understand. These are proposals. Nothing is final yet, and you have more power than you think. Action 1, make your voice heard. Contact your senators and congressional representative today. Tell them your story. Are you a senior living on Arbekte month? Tell them. Are you disabled and barely making ends meet? Tell them. Did you work years and now you're worried about cuts to the benefits you earned? Tell them that phone calls and personal stories make a difference. Politicians are afraid of angry seniors and disabled voters because you vote in huge numbers. Use that power. Action 2, apply for benefits now. If you've been on the fence about applying for SSDI or SSI, do it now before any rule changes take effect. Yes, the application process is slow and frustrating. Yes, many people get denied the first time, but you can't get benefits if you don't apply. I have other videos about how to strengthen your application. Check the playlist in the description. Action 3. Get your social security statement. Go to SRA. Gov and create a My Social Security account if you haven't already. Look at your projected benefits. Understand what you're entitled to. Knowledge is power here. Action 4, document everything. If you're on disability or applying for it, document everything with your doctors. Get copies of your medical records. Write down how your condition affects your daily life. If these stricter reviews come, you'll need solid documentation. Action 5, explore. Look, Social Security might be your main income, but it shouldn't be your only resource. Make sure you're getting SNAP if you qualify. Look into LIHAP for energy assistance. Check if you qualify for Medicaid. See if your state has additional programs for seniors or people with disabilities. I have videos on all of these. They're in the playlist. Here's what I want you to remember. Yes, this is concerning. Yes, we need to fight these cuts. But Social Security has been around since Ichen Jobite Sensor Wu. It survived wars, recessions, political upheaval, everything. And it's not going anywhere. You want to know why? Because Tisser's million Americans depend on it. That's Tisser's million voters. Politicians know that cutting Social Security is political suicide. Even with all these proposals, there will be pushback, there will be compromises. The program will continue, but that doesn't mean we sit back and let them do whatever they want. It means we stay informed, we stay loud, and we demand better. And here's something else. We're one of the richest nations in the world. We have billions and billions of dollars to send to other countries. We can afford weapons and wars and corporate subsidies, but we can't take care of our seniors and disabled citizens. That's a choice, not a necessity, and it's a shameful choice. Before we wrap up, I want to come back to that COLA situation because this is actually an opportunity. Right now, during this delay, lawmakers are being pressured to switch to the CPIE calculation. If enough people speak up, if enough people call their representatives and say, I support CPIE, we might actually see a better cost of living adjustment this year. That's the difference between Wusher Sus Extra per month and potentially Sembaito Wu ballots. That's groceries, that's medications, that's keeping the heat on in winter. So here's what I'm asking you to do right after you finish watching this video. Leave a comment that says, I support CPIE. Then call your representative and say the same thing. Tell them you want the government to calculate COLA based on actual senior expenses, not the expenses of working people in cities. Your voice matters. Your experience matters. And if we all speak up together, we can make a difference. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Times are tough, money is tight, and these proposed cuts would make things even harder for millions of people who are already struggling. But you're here, you're learning, you're taking action, and that matters more than you know. I'm going to keep showing up for you every single week with updates, resources, and strategies to help you navigate all of this. I'm going to keep reading the boring policy reports so you don't have to. I'm going to keep breaking down complex government programs into plain and English because you deserve to understand what's happening with your benefits. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who needs this information. Hit that like button so YouTube shows this to more people. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe now and hit the bell icon. I post new videos every week about benefits, resources, and how to make ends meet on a tight budget. I've got a whole playlist on Social Security, how to maximize your benefits, how to appeal a denial, how spousal benefits work, all of that. Check it out in the description. And remember, you've survived tough times before. You've made it through recessions, job losses, health crisis, everything life has thrown at you. You'll get through this too, and I'll be right here with you every step of the way. You've got this. I believe in you. Now go make your voice heard. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a great